It's the 17th of May, 1944, and Lieutenant Phil Adair is in charge of a flight of Burma Banshees, 4 planes painted with screaming, sharp-toothed skulls. Today, their mission is to bomb Japanese ground targets. Adair grips the control stick and turns the nose of his aircraft towards the dense, sprawling canopy of the Burma jungle. Peering through the haze at the landscape, he sees flashes of gunfire and explosions punctuating the thick green expanse. American-trained Chinese forces are in a desperate battle against the Japanese army. Sweat drips down Adair's back as he and the other Banshees line up their attack. The less experienced pilots trail behind, with Adair leading the run. The Japanese soldiers on the ground shield their eyes from the glaring sun as they squint towards the sky. Above them, the fierce skulls swoop in. Adair unleashes his deadly payload, and the bombs are on target. The ground shakes violently beneath the Japanese soldiers' feet as explosions erupt in a fiery cascade. As Adair pulls up and his nose is pointing at around 45 degrees, he looks up and sees Japanese planes. To his side, his wingman is about to start a bombing run. Adair describes in his own words what happened next.
3 flights of Zeros, there were 15 of them. They had us bracketed and had already started to peel off on us. They weren't coming after me, they were coming after my wingman and the other 2 guys, so I yelled at him.
Bandits, 11 o'clock high.
Adair is an experienced pilot, but his wingman, O'Connor, who Adair affectionately called Little Okie, doesn't have the benefit of Adair's experience.
I called him and I said, "Little Okie, make sure you've got your tanks and your bombs off."
Turn right into the clouds to get away from the Zeros.
O'Connor immediately drops his bombs, but his tank is stuck. 4 enemy planes are already closing in on him. He enters a hard turn to evade the incoming Japanese fighters. Adair sees all 5 planes disappear into a cloud bank. The remaining Japanese fighters fan out and lock on to the remaining Americans. But Adair is already coming to the rescue of his wingman. He accelerates and turns into the cloud bank to follow O'Connor. But when he comes out the other side, there's no sign of Little Okie. Adair describes the scene.
When I came out into the open again, I was looking to see if I could spot any P-40s, and I didn't, but I spotted a flight of 4 Zeros on the other side of this open clearing, and they were heading towards me, so I headed towards them.
Adair gets the leader in his sights, waits, and fires. Tracers snake out towards the Japanese, but before they're in range, the Japanese fighters pull away. Adair flies into cloud to evade further pursuit, but when he emerges into clear skies once again, there are Japanese fighters still around. Another flight of 4 aircraft comes into view.
I did the same thing with them. I headed towards them, and the first 3, they all broke to the left before they got in range. But the number 4 man didn't do that. He kept coming. So I waited until I was sure that he was in range, and the instant I squeezed the trigger, his airplane just disintegrated. I must have hit him dead center because the airplane just flew apart.
With 1 plane down, Adair quickly maneuvers back into the cloud bank.
I could see an airplane that had spotted me and headed towards me. And I headed towards him, and he kept coming and coming. When he got to looking pretty big in my sights, I figured, well, he's well within range now, so I squeezed the trigger and I was shooting at him, and he was shooting at me. I couldn't see the bullets, but I knew what he was doing. I could see tracers. And all of a sudden, the canopy got so big in my gun sight that I knew he was real close. And he went right over the top of my airplane, and when he did, he was close enough that I could both hear and feel this whump as he went by. As he went by, I rolled over and started to get down to a lower level, and as I did, when I was upside down, I could see a Zero that was painted a bright green on the top, shiny as could be.
Whoa, that's cool.
So after he went by, I looked and there was a Zero come from the other direction down lower than me.
Using the advantage of altitude, Adair turns the plane and expertly swings in towards the rear of the Japanese fighter. The Japanese Hayabusa, or peregrine falcon, drifts towards Adair's sights. And Adair catches the Japanese plane with a deflection shot. The wing disintegrates and the fuselage rolls over, plummeting towards the rocks below.
So I knew that that was two that I had shot down there, and I had shot at several others, and no idea whether I'd hit them or not.
Adair is now on his own and in the open. At this stage, he's pretty shot up and fuel is running low. He needs to get back to base. Turning to the north and home, he's horrified to see 5 more Japanese planes. Outnumbered and without an altitude advantage, all Adair can do is turn and run. The stick trembles in Adair's hand as he guides his wounded P-40 to the south.
Oh, man.
The Japanese planes catch up fast. Their tracers are streaking past Adair's cockpit in deadly arcs. He throws his P-40 into a last resort defensive maneuver, pulling hard on the controls until the plane shudders around him. The world becomes a blur of metal and sky as he twists and rises through the air, desperately trying to shake off his pursuers. Japanese fighters slash through his field of vision again and again, their guns spitting tracers and lead. Then, through all the chaos, he spots what could be salvation, albeit laced with danger. It's a thick bank of clouds with a massive rock formation jutting through its surface. Despite the extreme danger, Adair, outnumbered and shot up, weighs his options and dives towards the cover below. He manages somehow to get into the clouds. With skill and some luck, he misses the rock, and when he emerges on the other side, he heads back north into the clear skies.
Bamboo 2, come in. O'Connor, do you copy?
I circled a little bit calling my flight. Nobody around, so I thought I had, for the first time, lost all of my flight. I was the only one left. I didn't feel too good about myself.
A cold numbness spreads through him as he turns his battered fighter towards Nagaguli. He scans the horizon, searching for any sign of his missing friends. Through the haze, a familiar red-nosed P-40 appears. Adair is ecstatic to see it's O'Connor limping across the sky. Adair flies up to survey O'Connor's crippled aircraft. His plane's belly tank is still attached, but the fuselage is peppered with punctures. A ragged hole gapes where a 20mm shell is torn through the canopy, and O'Connor slumps in the cockpit, blood soaking his flight suit. Through a red mist, O'Connor sees Adair's plane and sits up and gestures at his dead instruments. But there's no smoke coming from the engine, nor any fluid streaking the metal skin. They bank north towards Nagaguli, 2 survivors in an otherwise empty sky. The radio crackles and a weak voice breaks through the static.
Bamboo Leader, this is Bamboo 3. Do you read?
It's Tom Rogers. He tells Adair that he's circling above Sadia in his P-40, too unsure of the state of his aircraft to attempt a landing alone. Adair looks across O'Connor's wounded plane, knowing the diversion is going to cost some precious fuel. But he can't leave a friend stranded, and the 2 Banshees set off towards Rogers. Banking towards Sadia, they spot Rogers' battered P-40, its wings and fuselage bearing the bullet holes that mark all 3 aircraft. As they draw closer, Adair's trained eye catches the telltale sag of Rogers' landing gear. Both of his tires are completely flat. Adair signals that he's going to lead them both into touchdown, with Oki in front as his airspeed indicator is still working, and Rogers behind as the flat tires will bring him to a quick halt. Guiding the 2 planes into a final approach, Adair pulls up at the last minute and circles above. He's relieved to see both of his friends land safely. He then touches down himself. As the plane comes to a stop, Adair spots that Martinez is already down and unscathed. Roger.
जी दोस्तों, कैसी लगी आपको ये वीडियो? इस वीडियो से काफ़ी नॉलेज हासिल हुआ होगा, आपको उम्मीद है। नेक्स्ट वीडियो के लिए हमें बताइएगा कि कौन सी वीडियो हम किस टॉपिक पर बनाएं। हम मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में।